Welcome to the Men of Action podcast, where we're bringing on men who have overcome life, who have overcome the storms in life, who felt like a victim until they recognized they had that hero, that victor mindset inside of themselves. And today, I got Matt Fontaine, who's overcome so much in his life to spread joy and light to other people. And he's an incredible man, so I can't wait for everyone to share his story. So, Matt, take the ropes. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
About myself, well, first and foremost, man, just thank you, thank you so much, for having me on. You are a positive presence in the Twitter space, and you posting content and posting tweets, about your schedule and things that you're doing, man. It really is inspiring, and it allows me to really just truly just keep going, and just knowing that there's other levels to be reached. Thank you for pushing me, man. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for those positive words of encouragement. Whenever I receive those, it's a light, it's a fire that just gets inside me and charges that battery, so I can just keep on going and spreading a good message.
Yeah, you got unlimited battery, man. I don't know how you do it, but man, you keep going, man. Awesome. Yeah. So, a little bit about myself. As you said, I'm Matt Fontaine. I'm 24. Turning 25 next month.
Okay, what day in February? What day in February?
15th. So the day after Valentine's Day. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Let's go, February. Let's go. That's awesome.
It's a great month. I know a lot of people diss February, but it's a great month.
Nah, shortest month, but
two legends were
most
born.
impactful. Yes, sir. February 13th, February 15th. That's what's up. But yeah, man. So 24 years old. Still, I guess like a college dropout a little bit. I'm planning on returning back to school. Obviously for my mom, she wants to see that diploma. You know what I'm saying? So, so I'm still like technically, technically a senior. I'll get that later, dude. I was like, I'll give it to her as a present. But technically I'm a senior. And studied kinesiology. So that's where I got the I went in there because I had an interest in fitness, because I started fitness back when I was like 17 years old, kind of dabbled, in it. When I was 14, 15, I remember me and my old friend used to just record us, just, pulling down the entire rack, with, horrible form. I remember me blowing my back for about a week because I deadlifted wrong. Yeah. And I remember, trying to bench 135 pounds and just dropping that whole thing, on my back. This was like, 13, 14, 15, early high school days, but messing around, but really just fell in love with it, at 17, 18, really just started taking seriously and kind of just took it to the next level, when I went in college. So, that's why I went to study kinesiology. Right now I'm not doing anything, with that degree. Right now, I'm currently running, helping my parents run two practices. So I'm like kind of their administrator, and plus is, all the practices under my name too. So I'm not the CEO of it yet, but, I will, get up there. And so, yeah, not yet. But, really just doing the administrative dirty work, back end stuff, helping out with patients, with, thinking of ways to scale the business. Right now, one of the things I'm working on is, SMS marketing and, learning how to run ads, Facebook, and really just, I'm also handling, inventory. So, handling invoices, coming in, make sure recording those. And, obviously for next year, for, this tax season, and, preparing for next year's tax season so we can get ahead of that too. And then, thinking of ways to scale the business and, ideas and all that stuff. So all over the place, like even also helping out with patients too. If we, get too busy. And we primarily are in Philadelphia. So, and
Eagles, they have an amazing record.
Yeah, man, just gotta tighten up and, just take it one game at a time. One game at a time. I'm a big fan, of Jalen Hurts, because I'm originally from Alabama. So we got that, Alabama roots. So I'm a big fan of him and his character. So hopefully, just take one game at a time, and he's good to go for the playoffs. So that's all important. But we primarily in Philly, and we serve the Hispanic community, Hispanic Latino. So we have a
Cool.
mixture of Guatemalans, Mexicans, Dominicans, Brazilians, a lot of Brazilians. And so about like 99% of our clientele is Spanish speaking or Portuguese speaking. So there's a huge language barrier. So on the side, I'm learning Spanish as well, just to help out with that, and
That's awesome.
and then getting daily practice over there too. So so that's a little bit what I do, and I post fitness content, Twitter on the side. I originally had a fitness account called or like on the same name. So I started around like 2019, 2020. And then, I was dealing with a lot of, personal issues, back then I wasn't really, close to the Lord at all. I was kind of just, doing my thing, and, smoking weed on the side, and, because, of my anxiety, and, thinking that would help my anxiety, and also, calisthenics, because I do calisthenics content as well. Like calisthenics, especially weighted, puts like a lot of stress on the body. And so, sometimes I would, feel like my joints were like literally like ripping apart. So I would use, weed to, kind of help with that too. And it just kind of developed over time to a full blown addiction. So I was still posting content, still, gaining followers, all that stuff. But, on the side, I really, was struggling. And then it came to a breaking point, back in 2020. Because I know you said that this podcast is all about, men overcoming obstacles. Not, 2020 and 2021, well, that was the biggest obstacles, that I ever faced, because it was like a borderline life or death situation, with my mindset, with my thoughts. Because before, I'm gonna be honest, I'm an open book. Like,
absolutely.
I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. That's just what it was.
Hey, just be you, man. Just be you. And
Yeah, for real. Like I was spoiled, growing up, and just like blessed, just to be in the position that I'm at, and I grew out of that. I realized the platform that I have, and the support that I have. Like I have no, like my mindset now is like I have no choice, but to succeed. Like if I don't, like it's just like that's just a waste, like complete like waste of my parents, time and money and efforts. So, but like through that, like I really never really had a trial, a big trial, but like this one was huge because back in like 2020, so around like Q4, 2020, I went into what they call it I was smoking way too much, and then it became a point where I fell into like a drug induced psychosis, which is like, they originally, I guess they called it bipolar, because I did have a manic episode. Like I wasn't sleeping. I didn't sleep for about 20 days.
You didn't sleep for 20 days?
Yeah. Like just going like my mind, because my mind wouldn't turn off.
Right.
Like my mind literally wouldn't turn off. Like I was just going like this, like 5 minutes felt like 5 hours. Like I'll just learn at the time, like, why isn't it morning yet? Why is it morning yet? So I didn't sleep for about 20 days. And so I ended up in, three different hospitals, man. That was the worst, absolute worst part of my time, because I remember the first hospital I was at, and it was in the hood of Philly. Like it was just rough, man. And then, I went to second and third, just to get, get better, and then, kind of, coming out of that, unknowingly, I burnt so many bridges, man. It was ridiculous. Obviously people left, and, that's, to them too. That really, that hurt, at the moment, because I didn't realize, what I was doing. And so like, I really just fell into a huge, huge depression, man. Like, became a recluse, man. Like I stopped working out. I was around 150 pounds, and I went up to, 215.
And how tall are you? Let's get an
Yeah.
idea.
Oh, I'm about 5'6".
5'6". Okay.
I usually I always rounded myself up to 5'7", because I'm like 5'6" and like 3/4. But
Hey, cool. Hey, just with the right shoes.
Oh,
no one needs to know.
it is. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
All good. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. And that's what I know.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah. So just going, kind of just going through that, and went up to about 215, 212, 215. just, basically my schedule was just eating, sleeping, eating, sleeping, eating, sleeping, eating, sleeping. And so, I didn't really have a purpose. I kind of, after that incident, after all the damage that I really caused, and, to my own fault, of course, um, I wrote my entire life off. I was like, I guess I'm just not doing anything the rest of my life. I'll just, eat until I die. Like that was like my mindset, so, but like, obviously that, that became a miserable mindset, horrible, horrible mindset. Like
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep well. My eating was like sporadic. Sometimes, some days I would eat, some days I wouldn't. And this happened like pretty much all 2021, like, excuse me. And then like, going into, early 2022. And like, I was seeing, therapists, and psychiatrists at the time, just to kind of like mitigate the, mitigate the stress, and,
Right.
obviously you can continue to, give me medication, to handle the symptoms. And, I remember one time at the psychiatrist, um, because I wasn't reading, the Bible at the time. And, both my parents are devout Christians, absolutely devout. So they're, constantly, feeding me scripture, and I wasn't hearing it. Like, I was just like, borderline cursing God. Like, I was like, God, like, I don't know why you made me, do that. Like, just made me just to die. And that's it. Like, I didn't like life. I resented it. And I was jealous of people who had like were living life, what I'm saying? Like, I'm back then, like, if I saw, one of, Ty's tweets, like, I'd just be absolutely in balls of flame. Like, I was just like, bro, like, who does this man think he is? What I'm saying? Like, just completely, just like absolute like negativity. Like, I remember like reading, one of Gabe's or, one of Jack's tweets. I was like, bro, like, I just hit me to the core. I was like, dang, dude, I'm really am the loser out here, bro. That's like how,
Mm.
what I felt like. And, but I remember, just this time at my psychiatry appointment, basically, how it went. Like, I was just basically just complaining to him. It's like, oh my God, like, I wasted my life. Like, da da da. I'm only 20. I'm 24, and I've done nothing for 24 years. Like, that was my mindset. And, he took me, and it's crazy because I wasn't, listening to anything, about the Bible at that time.
Right.
Very just, in and out of the things. And he told me he told me the story. It's in John 5, verses 1 to 15. It was basically just paraphrasing, the healing, of the pool. There was this, beggar, not beggar, but this very sick person, that was, waiting waiting to be healed. And he thought the pool was going to heal him. Jesus came and was like, hey, do you want to be healed? Like, he asked, like, do you want to be healed? And he was like, yes. And he was like, take up your mat and walk. But like, with distinction, that the therapist, told me, a psychiatrist told me, was that, like, listen, like, this guy has been living there for 37 years, not moving. Jesus came, healed him, and now he's walking, with a
Mm.
purpose. Like, think about that. And like,
Oh,
that really just struck me, because 5 days prior, I remember my dad just, telling me, it's like, telling me the exact same verse, so, and I wasn't listening to any verses at the time, but
right. Yeah, because you
but
kind
for
of close
some
your ears
reason,
off. Like, I don't want to hear
yeah,
anything.
yeah, I don't want to hear anything. But for some reason, that story, verses 1 to 15, just stuck like like glue. And I remember, looking, over Twitter, just crying. And, I saw one of, Jack's Jack's tweets, and, under it, like I said, like, I'm looking for people that want to, you know, change their life, get their body, like, lose weight. And I was looking at my, my stomach with all my rolls. And I was like, man, like, this got to change, man. And
Right.
I really just couldn't do it alone, because, 2021, I would try, and I was like, dude, like, what's the point? Like, honestly, like, what is the point of me doing all this? And, so I couldn't keep myself accountable. So, so I went, for help, and I sought help. I messaged him, I DM'd him. I was like, hey man, like, like, I don't remember if you remember me from 2020. We talked back in 2020, he was like, dude, like, I remember. It's like, he's like, yeah, man, what's going on? And then, got in contact with him. I had a conversation with Joey too for about 45 minutes.
Mhm.
And like, I was willing to, pay anything, like, I'm heavily invested into finance and investing, and, passive income and all that stuff too. And
Right.
I remember that I didn't really have, any money, like any cash, like, saved up, at the time. So I had to, like, to buy the program, like, I had to sell some stock. I was like, all right, like I never sell. I'm a buy and
Right.
hold, for the long term. Like, love me some Warren Buffett. He just
Well,
the
hey,
goat of
even he
investing,
sold
right?
like penny stocks, and he sold.
Yes,
Before.
literally. But his principle is always buy and holding. So I sold. I was like, man, like I gotta pay for this. So I sold everything. I
So
mean, I
like,
sold not everything, but I
well,
sold
like
like
what percentage did you like 80% of stuff you should sell?
no, not like crazy.
Okay.
Because like I would just sell. I would just hold like 100%. So maybe I sold
Okay.
maybe like I probably maybe said like maybe like 15% or something like that, just to pay for that, because
Okay.
it's not like a big portfolio. It's like I just started. So I went and bought that, and I was a little reluctant. I was like, man, like I don't know how this is going to change and everything. And then literally soon, bro, as soon as I made that decision, as soon as I made, that commitment, like this is around like April 3rd, April 4th. As soon as I made that commitment, I was like, I was going to do it. I remember waking up the next day and like, bro, everything changed, bro. Like literally everything changed, dude. Like, it's what you call like a born again, like kind of experience, because, my sorrowfulness, like my borderline, like just despair, because I was suffering with despair, suicidal
Right.
thoughts, like all this stuff, like just think, like I wrote like multiple suicide letters, like
Oh,
like very like
letters.
aggressive with it.
Wow.
And then I went from that, to just feeling joy. I went from purposelessness to having a purpose. I went from um just complete like 180. I went from like almost borderline, cursing the Bible. Now I can't stop reading it. I can't stop wanting to learn and to understand, to be, in God's word, and learning about him, learning about myself as a believer, as born again Christian.
Mhm.
And this just consumed my life, man. And just complete just a 180. So 2022 it was like honestly like the best year of my life, because and actually 2021 was one of the best years of my life, because it was like a turning point. There's
Right.
something needed to change in like that turning point. And then 2022 I just it went like this, and then went like boom, like that. I
Wow.
went, I lost 30 pounds. I lost around 30 pounds.
That's a lot.
I was working with my parents like before, and then now I'm taking bigger responsibilities now. Like me and my dad helped my dad open a second practice, second business.
Mm.
And now that's doing well. Learning Spanish, like halfway fluent. Can't really, like I talk in like phrases, like
Right.
like I talk in like those type of phrases.
Yeah, you're just
But
working on the function right now before you can
yeah,
get.
but like
Yeah.
just but
Yeah.
being able to understand,
Yeah.
when they speak, like I'm able to
Nice.
started back on Twitter. I got connected back with Ty in July of 2022, and now just posting content there, and just working on little side projects, for me to help and improve the business and scaling. It's just like, bro, like, and then me like leading Bible studies now, and
Mm.
it's just, bro, it like literally like 2022 was such a like an explosive year, but it wasn't I wasn't going to be able to have that year if I didn't, suffer what I went through
Right.
back in 2021. And, it's just a blessing, it really is just a blessing. So that's just a little bit of about me. Sorry, it took a little bit long, but
No, hey, never,
yeah,
never apologize for telling
yeah,
your story. Never apologize talking about, how you began your journey. Because so many of us, and, you know, being in mental health and just understanding how people really think and feel, it's like social media can be such a great thing. Can be such a great
sure.
thing, connecting people,
Yep.
but also has its, well, you only see the good parts of people,
Yep.
right? You don't see the struggles, the self-doubts, and that every one of us goes through on a daily basis, and trying to have the mindset of making that decision. Am I going to listen to this thought or not?
Hmm. That's big.
And I had Nate Norman. I don't know if you follow him on Twitter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dude is full of energy, bro. Full of energy too. Yeah. He gets
And
me hyped.
one of the things he discussed was like the gray man.
Mm.
So like living not in color, like living in this mundane life, day to day. You go to work, you come home, and that's it. right?
Yep.
And, finding time and taking that personal responsibility to go out and do what you want to do, like live in
Yeah.
color, connect.
Yeah.
And with men, I know I mentioned this a handful of times, but we're terrible at asking for help.
Yeah.
We've
Big
been
time.
taught that if you cry, that if you share pain or show any sense of vulnerability, it's a weakness, when really trying to differentiate between what is a weakness and what's vulnerability.
Exactly.
Because they're
Oh,
completely separate concepts that get flooded in together like all the time. And it's just like,
yeah.
no, they're different.
Yeah.
Like weakness is just like when you kind of have completely given up. And I mean like completely given up, where you're like,
Yeah.
there's maybe like less of a shed of wanting to get better.
Yeah. That's huge, that you touch on, like, especially, the men aspect, because we're taught to just, be tough, be strong. Like, like there's a statistic that, like, I think, this is like more women, fall, into depression, but more
Right.
men take their lives.
4 times more likely men are likely to commit suicide than females.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally, so, this just goes to show that, men struggle just as much, if not more, with mental health than,
Yeah.
the women. And, and it needs to be addressed, man. And, like, because the thing is, like, even before, when I worked out and, developed, that consistency, bro, like
Mhm.
I was still struggling up here, but, like that, like, obviously, like, I think, like, coming out, of what I went through, it's that whole mindset thing,
Yeah.
man, like, it really just starts in the mind, more than anything, before, you tackle, a certain task, or you tackle working out. Like, you really have to be in a state of mindset, or else, like, you can lose weight, get in shape, and then, then you're back to square one, because that mindset never really shifted, and never really just, turned into something that's, long term, that's sustainable. And you
Right.
need to have, and you need to have that in order for you to have, like, long lasting results. It really just all starts in here. That's what I really learned the most. Like, I'm about, like, back when that accident happened, like, I was like 169, and I went down to 150, and then back up to 215. Now I'm down to, like, 186, 185. I'm a little bit heavier,
Mhm.
but, I'm almost just as strong, but the thing is, like, my mindset, like, I feel, I'm way more smarter, with it, like, way more willing to learn, like, egotistical. That's the thing, when you encounter Jesus, man, like, he just, like, just changes, every little nook and cranny of your entire soul, entire heart, man. And so, like, just, going from, a know-it-all attitude to, a student, just learning everything, and just not, being okay with just learning different things, like, and it's huge. But it all, going back to it, like, really just all this starts with the mind. And that's so important to take control of that, or else, like, it'll take control of you.
Yeah. And that's really, and truly, if you really want to get to it, it's actually looking at your heart.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of psychology yes, there's different parts of our brain that does help regulate emotions and
Sure.
thoughts and patterns, but a lot of things stem really from the heart. And
Yeah.
that's how we begin to really reflect on ourselves. So if you look
Mhm.
in the mirror and your heart's like not loving yourself, like not caring about yourself, your mind, it's going to travel to your mind. Your mind's just going to be like, you know what? You are worthless. You are dumb. I mean, look at
Yeah.
you. You haven't
Oh
done
my
anything.
goodness.
You're 24.
Yo.
What have you done in your life? Look at this guy. This guy's 24. He's scaling a business. He has a huge following. He's living life and he's all happy.
Yeah.
And that's not you.
That's
Oh,
crazy. Oh my, yeah. Because I remember during those times in 2021, like, I remember getting up, getting ready for, for work, as you said, and, going back to the gray man, like,
yeah.
literally, like, my life was like, okay, I get up, go to work, come home, eat, sleep, like, literally just, I call it, people call it the gray man. I call it the Walking Dead, man. And there's,
Ooh.
like, a lot of people, just like that, they're walking, but they're really just dead inside, bro. They're just waiting
Yeah.
to be buried. You know what I'm saying? And I was like that, man. So that was, that like, but, going back to that, like, me, cause I would, obviously, stand in front of the mirror, brush my teeth, like, wash my face, like, whatever. But, like, I would just stare at myself, just young myself, probably like, you piece of crap, like, you're nothing, like, just might as well just like, cause I have a window, like right next to right next to my bathroom. It's like, bro, you might as well just jump out head first in the window and just crack your neck, dude. Like literally just like, my mind is telling me to do that. It's
Right.
like, bro, like you're literally not going to make an impact. Like, bro, you're going to die like in like 2 years. Nobody's even going to notice. Like, bro, like just get rid of yourself. So that's what my mind was racing, every single day. That's the mindset that I adapted, man. And I live like that, man. Sometimes like during that time, I wouldn't even shower for days, bro. Cause it's like, might as well. I don't care.
Right.
Like
Well,
that's
especially if you're like sleeping like pretty much all day anyways, it's like, well,
yeah.
why take a shower?
Why take a shower? It's like I don't need to. I'm good.
No
So
one's gonna
yeah.
be
So I
around me. I'm doing my own stuff. I'm used to my own stuff
literally,
and everything.
yeah.
So it's like,
See, that's how it is, man. Like when you like how your mind kind of perceives you is how how your life is going to play out, and
right.
how your life plays out is how it's like almost like it reinforces your mind. So it's like a cycle,
It is,
like
yeah.
like mindset, lifestyle, and then it goes like the lifestyle will reinforce that mindset, and it'll just keep on going, keep on going. That's why it's so hard to break out of that cycle, because
Right.
like it's like everything is connected, and it just, reinforces.
Yeah, I've been tweeting on this in a while, but I used to tweet a lot about on you being the one to break that cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can break that cycle because yes, it's a cycle and it's gonna go over. But if you notice, there's always a space between the arrows.
Yep.
And you just gotta take that exit plan to go to like a new cycle, a better cycle.
Yeah.
Of okay, when my mind goes here, I have to go here, or else it's gonna downward spiral, and I don't want to go there. Because the mind, oh man, the mind is just it'll just mess. It can really mess you up if you have. It's called a fixed mindset, and that's the mindset that you're no good, can't do anything. Versus the growth mindset of what do I have to learn from this opportunity? What is this teaching me? And something that like I'm going to be coaching and teaching people, and I do this in my practice, is speak it out loud. Because when you have that internal dialogue, it's on repeat. When you speak it, there's something about speaking that allows you to hear your voice and be like, wow, that sounds awfully negative.
Yeah.
I don't really view myself that way. I'm going to view myself as this way. And then
Exactly.
the more like you speak it, the more it's like you become it.
Yeah.
So there's power in words, and there's, it's kind of goes against that old age saying that stick and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me.
That's a lie.
I mean, you talk about the biggest load of trash
So
that
oh
you're
man,
taught as a child, because you're like, well, why is this bothering me? Why is that word bothering me? And then people would be like, oh man, they said this, they did this, and it's like,
bro, words have the most impact, bro. Like literally, that's why it's so important for parents to be in the lives of children, because like, and speaking life into their children instead of like just speaking down on them, because that's if you don't address that, if parents are like speaking down on your children, growing up, they're always going to have that mindset. They're just going, oh, I'm not good enough, and like that's like trauma that they built up over time, that really just started when they were young, and they don't realize it until they're kind of like stuck at a rock and a hard place.
And yeah, it's kind of hard too, because if you always look at the generation prior, they were a little bit harsher because it was a different time period.
Sure.
And I know a lot of people would be like, I'm never going to be like my dad or my mom or whomever. And then they eventually, sometimes they do become that person. And they kind of almost like one day wake up and be like, I don't want to become this person. I don't want to always have to yell.
Yeah.
I don't always want to scream or downplay people, but sometimes people just don't know what to do.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, you're not really taught in school. I mean, you're not, unless it's, yes, it is up to the family, but there does need to be some type of education. And yes, the school does offer like what's called social emotional learning.
Yeah.
So they're getting there, but it's not really about how do you handle dispute? How do you handle a disagreement?
Yeah.
How can you be okay with yourself if a group of friends don't want you to play? I mean, a lot of those things in different scenarios aren't really taught. And I know your parents will probably just do the best, be like, well, just don't hang out with them. But it's like, I want to hang out with them because they're cool. They're like the fun people.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Right?
And yeah, that's true. Going back, I can relate to that, because I was always like growing up, I was always looking for validation from people.
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to hang with the cool kids. I wanted to be the cool kids. That's why I kind of like turned to fitness, like initially. But then going back to that story, like where I was alone, like a recluse, like I learned to like just be alone, dude. And like obviously it became dangerous at times, of course, but like learn to eventually like becoming your own your own character, like
Mm.
become like fall in love with yourself. That was the biggest thing, from April to like July, like June, July, like when I re-entered the Twitter space. Those months, I was learning, to be, to fall in love with myself, like just spending time
Right.
with God, spending time with family, and reaching out to people, reaching out to old friends, and burn that, but during that time, like I learned to like just I'm my own best friend, and I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people don't realize that, because I feel like if as soon as like you remove like those friendships, there's like, oh well, like, what do I have now?
Yeah.
So I think moments of isolation, not for obviously not for a long period of time, but little moments here and
Yeah.
there of isolation, it can really help you develop a character.
Well, it's so hard too. It's also really hard finding the right group of friends because
Yeah.
I mean, it's so easy. I mean, you're obviously a really friendly guy, so I'm sure it'd be like no trouble at all really making friends. But the question becomes, are they the right kind of friends that you want into your
Yeah.
life?
That's so true. Like you go to college.
Yeah.
That's a big thing, because like, you go to college, especially if you go to a state university. I went to Temple University, go Owls.
Yeah.
But like that's a 30,000, you know, 30,000 student campus,
Right.
like, of, a mixture of undergrad and postgrad, so you're going to meet a whole bunch of people. So it really just depends. And really just like, you got to realize that also, like, not everybody, has your best interest. Not everybody
Right.
is your friend, like people that do drugs with don't have your best interest at
Right.
all, and like you have to, make that discernment, there too,
Mm.
where you hang out, who you talk to on a daily basis, like it really just all matters. But I feel like you learn, a lot by yourself, and like what you want, like
Mhm.
what you like truly value. And then like you learn, kind of to gravitate towards those things, when kind of reach out and like go, after like go like continue after college, right?
Right.
And so like, I realized that, like, man, I want to be, I want to be in the gym, so I hung out with people in the gym. I want to be, like successful. I wanted to, I was that student that that studied on a Friday night. So I was like, you know what, like I don't care. I want to get ahead. Like I want to learn. I
Yeah.
want to learn. I want to master this topic. So like so you hang around people who are like that, and like that, like it really just once you leave college, like then you try to find people who kind of share that same interest. That's why I love Twitter.
Yeah.
Twitter, like you just find go-getters from every single space, like you want, like you find like people who have experience, people that you want to connect to, like, bro, like it's at the reach of a follow, at the reach of a DM. You can DM somebody, and you just automatically connect, man. Like, now we're in this group Elevate, man. Shout out
Yeah.
Elevate, shout out Matt Moore, man. He's the
That's right.
homie. But group of guys, that are into faith, who are into business, who are into lifting, man. Like, just like,
Right.
bro, like that's like my circle. That's like what I love to do. And that's the type of people who I want to meet, and to grow and build, build that network with, man. Like, but I feel like you have to, kind of like go through the weeds, and find out, find out the flowers that you want to, plant, and
Mm.
root, and grow, grow from there. So it all comes from
Yeah.
experience.
And for me, kind of the biggest shock was like I remember like shooting some people at DM and like who had like just like a massive following, like when I had probably like just a couple hundred.
Yeah.
And it's just like they responded. I'm like, wait, what? Like
Yeah, for
you're
real.
this guy who probably gets 1,000 DMs in a week,
Yeah.
and you're gonna like just be like, hey man, love to connect and everything. I'm like, my God, like I've
It's like,
never felt
whoa.
like
Yeah,
I
for
felt
real,
like
man.
once you get like to that level, it's just like you get so many of them, you're just like, eh. But like
Whatever.
talking with a lot of them and networking and just communicating and like just sharing life together.
sharing life and providing value for people, bro. Just like, bro, people just like, I feel like on our space, like people just want to see others win and like just
Yeah.
be, their best selves. Like that's so important, with who you follow, because social media, obviously gets a bad rep, because it is addicting, especially with Instagram. Like, you're comparing people's highlight reels to your own life,
Right.
and depending on who you follow on Twitter too, like it's very toxic. It can be a very
It is.
toxic place of people just complaining and sharing, sharing, but like being able to audit that and being able to like, okay, like I want to go into this space and because I want to learn about, real estate, I want to learn about fitness, I want to learn about
Right.
investing, I want to learn about mindset, I want to learn about, how to be a good father,
Mhm.
like, work-life balance, like whatever, man, like, dude, like, and like being able to audit those and really just, continue to fill your mind with these things. The Bible says to fill up your things with, you know, and whatever's true, whatever's noble, what is
Right.
honorable, good, praiseworthy, think on those things, meditate on those things, so filling up your Twitter space with people who uplift and who are, going to the next level and are working hard. Like it really is an experience, and you hop on there, you provide value, you impact, other people as well, so it just becomes this, just train of effects, man. And so, yeah.
Yeah, and you just highlighted one of my favorite words that really actually saved me in a sense is the word impact.
Yeah. Oh man, dude,
Yeah.
I mean, bro, that's what we're here for. We're here to
I know,
impact
right? To
people.
make an
Like,
impact, make a difference,
it's
help
cool. It's cool.
someone.
It's cool to make a dollar. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like, you're not gonna bring that dollar. When you die, it's like it's really just like, I want people I want people to say something. And I said at my funeral, bro. That's just
Right.
all. Like that's cool. I'd be like, oh yeah, that dude impacted my life. That's dope. That's the most probably like rewarding thing ever. So impact is huge, man, and you're doing that, every single day, with helping people on the psychology aspect, because
Yeah,
life is psychology,
it is.
like it really is. Like, if you go in business, there's psychology, there's reasons why certain colors are up here where they are.
Mhm.
Psychology, you mentioned, back before the podcast, that there was the grocery store is all psychology, because it's
Right.
all like, okay, you get all the good stuff on the outside, like, nope, but like you see, like my grocery store, I go to Acme. Like the first thing you see Acme is alcohol.
Oh.
Like, like there's alcohol right there.
And your
And
first mind's like, "Huh, a drink would be nice today. I deserve a
it's like,
drink."
yeah, like literally, there's a whole section, of like just checking out for alcohol, like right before you go and self checkout yourself. It's a whole section that you can go, what I'm saying, that you have to get through. It's just like, yeah, that's all. It's literally all by design. So
And I always say, "What is the intention?" I always go, you always have to look at what is the intention of things, and you have to understand that nothing is done by accident.
nothing, man, nothing,
Nothing.
man. I agree 100%.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I know we've connected for a while, but I've never really
yeah,
heard your story, and just to hear your story of, wrestling with yourself for so many years
yeah,
and not really really having like a solid group, it sounds like, and not really like loving yourself, and obviously
yeah.
self-love, really looking like taking care of yourself, not just I love
Big
you, I'm
time.
great and I'm wonderful, but
Yeah.
like I love myself and respect myself enough that I'm gonna get out of bed today,
Yeah.
that I'm gonna
Big
take
time.
a shower today, that I'm
Yeah.
gonna do one more thing today to show that I love myself. Bye.
Yeah.
And that's really at the core of what self-love is.
Yeah.
And there's so many great things that just kind of get misused of what the true intention of it is.
Yeah.
And for you, and just rediscovering your faith, and sounds like again more of a Christian counselor and psychologist.
You did. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
Because I knew it was like it's deeper. It might be a hot take, but like, I really think, depression is like a kind of like another name for spiritual warfare. Like it
mm,
really is, because like, I went to the first before I went to, a Christian counselor, Christian therapist. Like I went
mm,
to, my old therapist that I went to when I was 17, because like, so like 17 years old is like when I kind of had like my first like mental breakdown, but like it really just didn't cut, but it kept on going and going and going until like a
sure.
breaking point happened, 2020, and I just went down, because I was still like manageable. But like, he told me, it's like, oh yeah, just do things that you enjoy, try out new things, like, doing that, which can work and, can reinforce that lifestyle,
Mhm.
but I tried that, and I was like, bro, like, I was like, dude, like, what's the point? So, it wasn't really until, that change happened from like April 3rd to April 4th, because it wasn't like a gradual thing, bro. Like, it was just instantaneous. This is like,
Mhm.
I feel like I've been living this life that I'm living now for 15 years. But it hasn't even been a full year yet, bro. Like, it's only been 10 months since that happened, bro. 10 months, like 11, 12 months ago, like, I was still depressed, dude. I was still just,
Right.
mentally just messed up, man. So, that's why, God went in and did his thing, and then, came out anew. That's why I think, like, bro, like, I like seeking like Christian therapists, because they address like the spiritual issue, the spiritual side, which is even deeper, than the mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like, if your soul isn't, like, is rotten, dude, like, your
Right.
mindset will be rotten, and then the things that you do will be rotten, and it's just like, almost that, what we talked about, that cyclical effect. So they address it. They're really the spiritual one.
Yeah.
That's what really helped
You
me
did
the
something
most.
that was
So
great too, and you
yeah,
changed therapists. I talking to a lot of people. I know a lot of people are scared to change therapists, and they might not be vibing or connecting with them. And
yeah,
sometimes for them, that's their biggest fear is to try someone else.
yeah,
And sometimes you have to you have to go find someone who's going to really help you and talk with you and help you break down things. And
yeah.
that's just
They broke it down even deeper. So, and
yeah.
that's
Hey,
the
they
type
got
of
to the
thing that
soul.
I
I mean,
needed.
that's you don't
Yeah,
always get
literally.
that
Yeah,
in therapy because it's mostly really evolved around okay, what's your challenge? Okay, let's work on it. Let's give you some coping skills.
yeah.
Because it's
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. Coping skills. They teach you how to cope with the issue. They don't teach you how to address and tackle the issue.
yeah.
That's why like I like psychiatry. Like, yeah, I think it serves a purpose, but I don't think it should be everybody's go-to, because they just teach you, they give you the medicine to cope with it. Now,
Mhm.
like, like, since the bro, and since that time from April 3rd to April 4th, like April 3rd, I was taking medicine. April 4th until now, like, I haven't taken a single thing. That my medicine's just sitting on a cobweb, in my room,
Okay.
just collecting dust. Like, I haven't used it, ever
Wow.
since I'm able to, and those are like my sleep. I was on some heavy, like, I was on lithium, all that
Mhm.
stuff, like, very like heavy,
Yeah.
like heavy stuff. Like, now I
You
don't,
say you're taking
I
something
never.
like Seroquel to help you sleep?
Yeah, yeah, literally Seroquel. Yeah, literally, bro. I was on Azaprexa. I
Okay.
was on I was on that, like, just like sedative, like, just like knock me out, and then it will
Right.
knock me out, and then the next day I'll be sleeping still. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Well,
That's how
it's
powerful it
such a
was.
hard I mean, a lot of these medicines, they do serve a purpose, but they're heavy. They're not light.
Yeah. No,
They're
there's nothing to sneeze at, bro. Like, nothing, dude. Like, cause you take the Zyprexa, like 10 minutes later, you're just on the ground, just knocked out. It's the
Mhm.
greatest sleep of your life, trust me. But like, you
Sure.
you go into the next day, you're still sleepy, you're still groggy. Like, bro, it was horrible, absolutely horrible. And like, you just keep taking that and taking that. I had to up the dosage, too. But like, ever since then, man, like, I'm just able to sleep fine, taking naps, again, like. I'm taking a nap
Nice.
after this, like,
Yeah.
I love naps, like,
There's nothing
so
wrong with a good, a little
yeah,
nap
man.
on a Saturday. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh no, dude. I love taking my naps on Saturday, because I work out in the mornings too. And I'm just like, oh man, I eat. And I was like, dude, I'm actually like sleepy still. So I'm like, I go take like an hour nap, and then, work pretty much the rest of the day. Um, so yeah, it's just, I think it's definitely helpful. Yeah. Yeah. So
Well, I just want to thank you so much just for all your honesty, man. It's not
appreciate
easy
you,
to
bro.
come on to a podcast and just pour yourself out, being authentic,
Yeah.
being
Oh,
real.
thank you. Thank you, bro.
And this is what vulnerability looks like. This is like not showing weakness, man. I mean, you're just being open, you're being honest. Like, here's where my life sucked. And this is
Yeah.
the absolute I hit my rock bottom.
Yeah.
And sometimes it does take rock bottom. I know it gets a bad rep, but sometimes it does take it to hit rock bottom
It
before
does.
you know what, you're looking at a little puddle, and the only thing you see is yourself.
Yep, literally. Yeah, I 100% agree. And it's that time, like, where like you're suffering, um like, I guess, like, your inability. I'm trying to phrase this. It's like,
Mhm.
um I guess, like, when you're tired of being tired.
Right.
When you're tired of like, I'm in this space, like when that's more uncomfortable, than staying in it, that's when I feel like that's when like real change happens. And I don't think majority of people don't get to that, like need to get to that point to actually make like long lasting change. And so it really just takes a while. I hope no, I don't hope anybody goes to rock bottom, bro. I'm just saying it's like it's not
Right.
a fun time. Like you
No,
rather
it's
just, yeah, no, I'd rather
well,
not.
and everyone has a different version of rock bottom and a
Exactly.
different of severity too. So
Yeah.
it might be like a
Yep.
minor, like, oh, maybe I was a jerk. Okay,
Yeah.
let me introspect. Let me look within. If I was a jerk, you know what? I did tell that person to kind of like F off or do this, and
Sure.
probably wasn't the best route to take.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But that's
That's
just like
true.
you learning to like introspect and really look within
Mhm.
yourself. Okay, it might be more negative today. It might be more positive today. And who do I want to become? Okay, if I want to become healthy and fit, and I always focus on this, what is one thing you can do today? Because we get in this
Mhm.
mind that we need to completely just do a complete 180.
Yeah.
And we forget that life is a process. Like it's stages of change. And I know I was going through some YouTube shorts, and I know Joe Rogan, which is, because he's always on those shorts, he's always saying something, right? And he
Yeah.
was saying something that was really kind of profound. And I don't really follow him a lot, just, if I see a clipper
Mhm.
here, clipper there. But he was
Yeah.
saying we give too much value to that. We have to have something by a certain time.
Yeah.
And it's like we equate certain things with time. It's like, I got to be married by the time I'm 25, or guess what? It's too late.
Yeah.
Or at least engage, or what have you. Or, I had to have my whole life together.
Yeah.
And we forget that we all struggle. And I wonder if that really comes, because I was kind of reflecting. It's like, I wonder if it's because, if we want to go developmentally, there are certain development milestones that people need to make certain times. But it's like, when we hear someone's like, let's say in the 80% percentile, then all of a sudden they're in the 75th, 75% percentile, we get kind of freaked out.
Yeah.
Where it kind of takes away that we all have this journey, we all have this lesson to learn, instead of just being aware of those who are consumed by them. So that's another thing I really focus on is be aware of what's going on, but don't be consumed by it.
Yeah.
Don't be
Mhm.
consumed by having everything in a nice little box by this time frame. It is
Yeah.
your story, and figure out what's one thing you can do. If it's eating a salad or some vegetables, include that into your diet.
Yeah.
If you don't like vegetables, eat one.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally. Yeah.
But because that way you're at
Yeah.
least your body's getting some nutrients, and you're going through this whole transformation of changing your taste buds.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I remember there was a time when I was getting off pop. It took
Mhm.
me 6 months really to not have any desire for the first month was going through withdrawals and just feeling so gross.
Yeah.
Second month was kinda like pacing a little bit. Third month,
Yep.
I didn't really need it. And,
Yep.
like, you have to understand that everyone's unique. Everyone has a story to tell, and,
Yeah.
how do you wanna tell your story is how it goes. And from you, I love your story. I really love your story of from victim to victor, because
Thank you.
you are a man of action. You are a warrior king, my friend.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
You are
Thank
a
you. Thank you
king.
so much. One of the things that like my dad like really told me I was going through this. He was like, hey, son, like, listen, bro, like your story can either have one or two endings. You can story your end can end in a triumph or tragedy, bro.
Ooh.
Which one do you want, man, for real? Because if I
Yeah,
if I went down the continue if I went down the path that I was going on, it would have ended in a tragedy. I would
it
have
could.
ended up, hanging myself with the with the belt, on my pull-up
Yeah,
bar. 'Cause that's all I was thinking about. Like I wouldn't be able to meet you. I wouldn't be able to connect with, the guys on the Twitter space. I
right.
wouldn't be able to do the things that I'm doing now if I had decided to go that route. So that really like stuck with me.
And kind of speaking of that, for those who don't know, the suicide hotline number is 988. Again, that's 988.
Yeah.
And that can get you in touch with somebody, because you don't have to go through this alone. And that's
Mhm.
one of my actions is I work with people who are suicidal on a daily basis, actually.
Mm.
So people who are always having those thoughts and those ideations. And so for me, it's like, this is actually like, it really does touch my heart. So when you DM me kind of like what you're going to talk about, like that just struck a chord in my heart. I mean, truly, just like one, I'm so glad you're here, because again, we would never have connected, and your story we'll see how many people it impacts.
Dude, like, because thank you, bro, and it's honestly, like you're a warrior, yourself, for being able to, because like, when you speak to people who are going through those thoughts, like you really, kind of almost take on the pain, on a daily basis, and like it's really hard for you to hear that, man. So it takes like a special group, a special person, like yourself to really just handle that and to really guide people, through those thoughts. And, because it's one of the worst places you can be, because it's really just like a battlefield with your mind. And you feel like you feel like in those moments, like the whole world is just gray. Like it's not, there's no, it's like, it's just like, there's no color, what I'm saying? Like me, like, because before, like me being able to go outside and have a cup of coffee, what I'm saying? Like I really enjoy those little moments, bro. I'm like, bro, like if the leaves are falling, if the squirrels are running around doing their thing, like bro, like I'm enjoying those little moments. Like when you're in that mindset, bro, like of just like everything sucks, like bro, you can enjoy those moments, bro. Even if this is your birthday or you get this like promotion at the job, like you just don't celebrate. Cause like, oh man. So I really do thank you and appreciate your line of work, bro, because you're also helping so many people out there too.
Yeah. Well, as we kind of wrap up, what kind of like 1 minute kind of statement or sentence do you want to speak into someone's life today?
Really, that's a loaded one.
Yeah. Well, it can be more than a sentence. So just
one sentence. Just you know what? I guess. Hold on. That's really hard. Hold on. It's okay. I know this sound cliche, but it really isn't. It's never over till it's over, bro.
It's never over till it's over. Let that
because if you look at it, man, like I like those trials. They always have an end point. That's what I wanted to say. Trials always have an end point. Like it's never going to be that way. You're never going to feel that way forever. Like don't listen to the lies, that the brain, that the devil says to you. It's like, oh, it's always going to be that way. Cause it's not, bro.
And you just gave someone's life a 2-for-1 special.
Yeah. Thank you, bro. Yeah. So it's, trials and tragedies have endpoints, bro. So just get through it and, keep going.
And just do the best you can.
Yeah. I agree.
So thank you, Matt, so much for coming on the podcast. I loved having you. And you're definitely the definition of a man of action. Went from victim to victor, from someone who's a noob trying to get used to things to now a hero, shining light of so many people.
Appreciate you.
So make sure you go follow Matt, because the guy is a light. He's awesome. He's funny. And he always brings out great value that I always bring a smile on my face when I read his tweets. Look at his gains that he's making, those pictures, looking like a beast, looking like a warrior king. So you guys all have a blessed day, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Until next time, bye.
Until next time, guys. Appreciate you.